Yep, good old ATF, known for propaganda. We're going to get into a little bit more of that, but check this out of what they just posted today on the anniversary of Waco. On this day, 26 years ago, 4 ATF agents were killed in the line of duty in a mission outside of Waco, Texas. Special Agents Conway LeBeau, blah, 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 demonstrated the determination and bravery that are the hallmarks of ATF agents. We honor the special agents present that day, those whose persistence in the face of grave danger exceeded the highest of expectations. Their bravery and brotherhood continues to unite our organization in support of our mission to protect the public, which the federal courts, Supreme Court, has determined that law enforcement has no duty nor obligation to protect you. So check this out. The comments, they were shredded. Absolutely and completely, totally shredded by the public. The public is not buying this propaganda anymore, and I don't know why. Whoever is at the ATF who put this out probably won't have a job tomorrow. But you know, I think that it's necessary that we delve into this. And once again, if they're going to put out propaganda, then we need to expose said propaganda to the light of truth. So anyway, check out some of these comments that you're going to see. These are the agents that they are propping up. Who wants to take bets? They end up deleting this post, says Josh. Yeah, I can't wait to see the FBI and y'all try this again in August with Ruby Ridge. Bold move. It was very sad that it was only 4. That one especially stings. Those are the 4. They died so others like them can kill family pets. Y'all ought to be a convenience store, not a government agency. You should fire your social media coordinator, probably the person that hired them too. Oh, and that one, look at all of the, wow, look at the, it's crazy. Takes a lot of bravery to burn people alive in their home. Hashtag ATF sucks. Hashtag jackboots. This is in real time, scrolling down one comment to the other. How many kids were burned alive? Not a mention. Yeah, not a mention. Good job, ATF. Yep, you made yourself look bad again. But hey, look on the bright side. You didn't have to shoot any dogs this time. Okay, and then we have this one here. How many kids were burned alive? Constitutional usurpers should be shot. And John Oblinger says, by the way, I'm just here for the comments. Ouch. People are sitting back having popcorn watching the show and watching the ATF get absolutely obliterated. Shall not be infringed. You can call it bravery to infringe on other people's way of life. Shall we remember the innocent people that were burned alive too, or is that not important enough? And I always wonder what will happen if the head of the ATF special agent in charge of the Facebook page when he reads these comments. And then, of course, I post a Timothy McVeigh meme, but I love my dogs too much. Worst blatant murder until the Robert Lavoie Finicum murder. And I miss Lavoie. Worst blatant murder since then, yep. Undermining the Constitution, breaking one's oath, and how many lives were lost in Waco side? Says Jason Ski. And thank you for that comment about Lavoie Jean Calloway. Justice for Lavoie. Absolutely justice for Lavoie Finicum. And this incident, made him sick. So anyway, undermining the Constitution, breaking your oath is bravery now. We did that one already, but let me like that real quick. And we're going to be getting on to some more information, so hang on. I brought some chairs for everyone else that came for the comments. Oh, Chrissy Kirby. I hope she gets to see this video. Thank you, Chrissy, for that. Oh, that's too rich. A 51-day siege ensued, ending with an FBI assault during which the combat, same thing. And here's the only positive comment that we've gotten to so far, and it comes from, surprising this, Federal Enforcement Homeland Security Foundation. Says rest in peace to the 4 heroes. And thoughts. Yep. Funny who that comes from, huh? Federal Enforcement Homeland Security Foundation. So, right, going back in line, might as well include the names of the hijackers on the 9/11 memorial. Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms should be a great weekend, not a law enforcement agency. I like that one. Michael Anson Jones. That is a good comment. 76 dead. Yes, they were. I don't mean to laugh, but I am laughing at some of these comments, not the situation, ladies and gentlemen. Just so you know. We've had hardly any traffic on our social media pages lately. Honestly, it's a shame anyone. ATF, modern day SS. I mean, it just goes on and on. I mean, one comment after another, just slaying them. So let's get into some more propaganda that's being put out. And ladies and gentlemen, this is happening still in 2019. They are still putting out propaganda. Check this out. This is a statement from David Koresh himself.
It's not against law to buy a firearm. It's not against law to buy anything that they sell at a gun show. And when this is all resolved, you know, hey, yellow sheet is legal. An accusation is not. And bringing these tanks and stuff around here, I tell you what, being an American first, I'm the kind of guy that I'll stand in front of a tank, you can run over me, but I'll be biting one of the tracks. No one's going to hurt me or my family. That's American policy here. You could have arrested me any day as I jogged up and down this road. You could have arrested me going to town or going to Walmart. Waco was going to bear witness against the ATF. The 2 agents across the street over here, Robert Gonzalez, I love the guy. I was honest with him. I brought him into my home. He was going to stay here for 2 weeks. All this stuff you guys may want to avoid and deny. You know, he wanted to tour around the place. I promised him a tour. He could have talked to any of these guys around here, anybody. He was free to come and go as he chose. And I do not appreciate it, and never will I ever appreciate somebody coming here with 2 helicopters and cattle trailers and all that, and pushing people around with guns. Hey, I'll meet you at the doorstep any day, you know, and somebody will get hurt. If you want to keep playing that game, I'm talking to you. Somebody's going to get hurt. Because this ain't America anymore when the ATF has that kind of power to come into anybody's home and kick doors down and things like that. You know, I do understand, someone reminded me of this, I do understand that one of the officers says his gun went off on accident. And that, you know, that was just like a signal and all that, you know, but look, beside the point, ATF, you boys are wrong.
Oh, now, before I get to this next CBS piece that they just ran recently, a lot of people may say, oh, he was a cult leader who abused children and everything like that. Well, let's just really very quickly analyze that. The only people making allegations today in modern times are people that are looking for, that are trying to sell a book, as well as one of the people that despised David Koresh tried taking over the Branch Davidian compound and was kicked out, which ended up starting a lot of these allegations. Now, so let's check this out. This Washington Post. Allegations now treated as truth at the highest levels of the U.S. government were known to a number of federal, state, and local law enforcement authorities well before the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms tried to storm the compound on February 28th. Twice, Koresh was investigated, a probe in California, which is where this guy who tried taking over the compound, he was nuts, and he was asked to leave. And he went to a paper, a tabloid, started screaming all kinds of... and this is where the rumor started with this individual. Probe in California went nowhere. The other in Texas, as a result of the complaints from this guy in California, turned up no evidence of abuse. Questions about child abuse remained unresolved, and Texas officials reported that they had never substantiated a child abuse allegation on the compound. None of the 21 children released from the compound in the early stages of the 51-day siege was shown any signs of child abuse. Texas Child Protective Services officials said the children were physically and psychologically examined with absolutely no evidence of any child abuse. And let's go down further to see why it's so important for the mainstream media to keep propping up this narrative. FBI Director William S. Sessions said his agency had no contemporaneous evidence of child abuse in the compound during this siege. But the very next day, President Clinton said that they were being abused significantly, which, by the way, is not the jurisdiction of the ATF. Just saying, not their jurisdiction. And he's also said that they were forced to live in unsanitary and unsafe conditions, which is also has been disproven. When Reno had told him of plans to use tear gas, Clinton said, she said, it's because of the children. Yeah, we want to tear gas the children because of the children. And the just the nonsense goes on and on and on and on. These allegations have never been proven. There have been many people who have who've tried to show people there how there was any substance to these allegations, yet every once in a while, and all of these years later, somebody pops up that was a Branch Davidian who wants to sell a book. I don't know what their circumstances are. I don't know what their financial circumstances are or who goaded them into doing it. But if your children were actually being abused, I'm not going to wait until decades later to come and do a tell-all and make money off it. I'm going to kill the son of a bitch that tortured my kids, or report it to law enforcement, or do something. And if you didn't, then that's pretty sad in of itself. So there is no credible source that shows any of these allegations are true. Yet, check this cockamamie story, and I'll get into the grenades thing in a little while. That can be unpacked too, but check this out from CBS.
2018 marks 25 years since the deadly 51-day standoff between the Branch Davidian cult and the federal government in Waco, Texas. David Koresh was the charismatic leader of the fringe religious group. More than 80 people were killed over the course of the siege, including Koresh, his followers, and federal agents. For the first time, a retired UPS driver was revealing how he unknowingly delivered weapons and ammunition to the compound in the weeks before the confrontation. 48 Hours' Peter Van Sant reveals the secrets from Waco that haven't been told until now.
I've kept my story secret for the last 25 years. I didn't want to take this to my grave.
No. Their children and women in here. Now, you're going to hear this man talking about some stuff here, right? But I want to keep you in mind, this is a UPS driver that makes a claim that he was handling a package that was delivered to the Branch Davidians. All of a sudden, magically opened itself and outpoured grenades. That, by the way, no grenades were ever found at the Branch Davidian compound, and the only grenades they could ever tie to the Branch Davidians were dummy grenades, the ones like you keep on your desk. You ever walk into somebody's house or office and see that grenade on the desk with the complaint department, pull right here, that kind of thing. It's the only type of thing they ever found there. But keep that in mind, because this is a UPS driver. You mean to tell me that a package automatically, just mysteriously, just opened itself and these grenades came pouring out? Claims that it was the shipment came from an arms dealer. Like arms dealers are going to package up grenades in packages that accidentally open themselves. This is just the most. Oh, you got to hear it. Just check this out.
Here to call it off.
This delivery man unwittingly armed the cult.
I have been blamed for what happened out there.
Waco was a tale of a religious fringe group that decided to fight back against the federal government.
Their leader, David Koresh.
Now, hang on. They decided to fight back against the federal government after coming to the door in the initial raid and the ATF blasting through the door and shooting several people.
In the opening scene, agents are in position behind cars, shooting at the front of the house, as two teams of 4 agents climb ladders on the side of the house to the roof. Now we'll replay what you just saw. Notice that there are no bullets hitting the ground or cars around any of these ATF agents. The 3 dark dots low on the horizon are helicopters. The sound of automatic weapons is coming from the M16 and MP5 machine guns used by the ATF agents.
Hey, 1 second.
In the next scene, 2 teams of 4 agents were supposed to secure the roof within 30 seconds of arrival. Notice that no one is shooting at these agents as they climb the ladders. Several of these agents are carrying fully automatic rifles. The agent at the top right side just managed to shoot himself in the leg. Did you see it? We'll watch that again. The 9mm pistols carried by the ATF have no safety protection on them. As the agent climbs the ladder, he reaches for his gun in the holster. It discharges, wounding him in the leg and causing him to slip. He is able to continue up the ladder, however. According to ATF spokesman Royster, the raid on Mount Carmel had been planned and rehearsed for months.
They drilled over and over again, and we had our plan down, we had a diversion down, all were put into effect, and they were waiting.
Next we see 3 of the 4 agents on the roof breaking into the window. Let's watch this part again. No one is shooting at these agents. The shooting you were hearing is from the agents on the ground in front of the house. Notice that the agent is carrying 2 types of grenades on his belt. He also is carrying a smoke grenade. Both agents at the window toss in what appear to be smoke grenades. After these agents get through the window and into the room, you will briefly see the 4th agent on the roof, followed by one of those badly edited cuts in the film. The film picks up with the 4th agent tossing something into the room. It makes no sense for him to be throwing anything at all into a room where the 3 ATF agents have just gone, unless he intends to injure his own men. He also fires a machine gun into the room, twice without looking. We'll watch it at normal speed, then slow it down. Now let's watch it in slow motion. Here he tosses something and withdraws his hand from the window. Next, without looking, he fires a burst from his machine gun into the room. Someone begins shooting from inside and bullet holes appear in the wall. In the midst of this gunfire, 3 holes appear at the same time. The agent fires his machine gun into the room a second time. He's then hit by a round. The bullet strikes him in his helmet on the backside of his head. He falls to the roof and grabs his head. This agent is not hurt, and he later makes it safely down the ladder. Regardless of who is shooting from inside that room, this agent just threw what appears to have been a grenade and fired a machine gun twice into the room where his 3 fellow ATF agents have just gone. All 3 of the agents who were sent into the window were killed. All 3 were Bill Clinton's bodyguards during his presidential campaign. A 4th agent was killed that day before the shooting started, as he exited the cattle car.
We're extremely proud of what happened out there, how our agents conducted themselves under some unbelievable circumstances. They did a fantastic job.
David Koresh says,
They fired on us first, but like I say, they were scared.
They had it planned for months, so I don't think there's really anything they did wrong. Like I said, they had bigger guns than we did.
Notice the MP5 and M16 machine guns and knife sheaths on these ATF agents who claim to have been outgunned. On the day of the raid, 29-year-old Mike Schroeder, a Branch Davidian, had left the Mount Carmel Center that morning to go to work in town. He learned about the raid on the radio. His wife, Kathy Schroeder, and their 4-year-old son were inside the Mount Carmel Center. Mike, along with Woody Kendricks and Norman Allison, attempted to go home. Mike was shot 7 times, once through his eye, another through the heart, and 5 times in the back as he attempted to climb over the fence. Norman Allison was captured immediately. He told the ATF that Mike Schroeder had been killed. The official lie, released to the news media, claimed that the men started a shootout as they tried to leave Mount Carmel. The story appeared on March 1st in the Associated Press and in the Waco Herald Tribune on March 2nd. But even this March 1st story reported that one of the 3 men was killed. Documents filed in Norman Allison's indictment also plainly show that the government knew the men were trying to get into the Mount Carmel Center, not shooting their way out. These documents also prove that the government knew on February 28, 1993, that Mike Schroeder had been shot. Yet Mike's body was left hanging on a fence for days. His family wasn't notified of his death until 5 days later. On the 5th day, Mike Schroeder's body, chewed by wild dogs and birds, was picked up on a grappling hook from a helicopter and transported like a side of beef on a meat hook. His mother was in Waco, and she was finally notified of his death by telephone. His wife inside Mount Carmel was never notified of his death by the FBI. Peter Gent's body was left atop a water tower. It fell apart and dropped to the ground when the feds attempted to lift it with a grappling hook. The Branch Davidians buried what remained of his body. 2 of the ATF's own agents sum up the ATF mentality pretty well.
And the thing that I find totally abhorrent and disgusting is these higher level people took that same oath and they violate the basic principles and tenets of the Constitution and the laws and simple ethics and morality. That's what disgusts me.
In my career with ATF, the people that I put in jail have more honor than the top administration in this organization. I know it's a sad commentary, but that's my experience with ATF.
On the 4th day, Jeff Jamar of the FBI is brought in to be in charge of the operation, replacing the ATF. From this point on, all news people will be kept 3 miles away from the Mount Carmel Center. ATF agents armed with machine guns and state troopers are posted at roadblocks to keep citizens 5 miles from the Mount Carmel Center. The only news that anyone in the United States will receive will be the official version told by Agent Bob Ricks of the FBI. It is illegal to use military troops against United States citizens under the Posse Comitatus Act, 18, United States Code 1385, but the FBI brings in tanks from nearby Fort Hood, a U.S. Army installation, to surround the house.
This is not like they knocked on the door and served a warrant. They assaulted the place. Okay, so keep that in mind as we move on. Sorry, that when they say these things, it just makes me so mad.
Son of God.
There's a madman living in Waco.
He was incredibly charismatic.
I waited patiently on the Lord.
He was spellbinding.
He was a God in the human flesh.
They would do anything for this man.
even unholy acts.
How many young girls did he have sex with?
I'm thinking at least 10.
Wait a minute. Did you hear what she just said? I'm thinking at least 2? Oh, well, that's real nice of you to think without evidence and then smear somebody who's dead after murdering the entire compound of the entire church. Right. Oh.